Your vote counts. Your issues matter. It's Topical starts right now. That's right, the clock is ticking. Just over 7 weeks until we exercise the franchise, and just a week away from Elections 360. And tonight, we're going to give you just a taste of what you can expect. A very good evening to South Africa, those watching around the world. My name is Blaine Herman, and this is It's Topical. Our digital audience is not with us tonight, but guess who is? Sakina Kamwendo. She is live for us. There you see her beautiful face standing by in the M1 studios. M1 is just a fancy code word for fancy studio, right? She'll be steering the 360 ship with me throughout this election season. She's standing by with a live audience as well tonight. Looking forward to their input in a short while. Tonight's program is all about hearing from you, right? Your joys, your concerns, your solutions, important. You are bound to hear a competition of ideas, and that's healthy. Why? It's because that means we are working towards a common goal for the common good. Nobody has reached like the SABC, right? We're all over the country and strategically positioned on the continent as well as around the world. We will be touching base with some of our reporters around the country soon to find out the state of play. Look, in this country, we have the haves and the have-nots, right? With a lot of communities somewhere in the middle, the contrast of life. Sometimes democracy can be messy. So let's look at elegant ways of tidying it up, which leads us to the question of the week. And we ask you, what would motivate you to change or retain the provincial leadership in the upcoming elections? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know at It's Topical SABC. All right, exciting show we have for you tonight, and as I said, we will be crisscrossing the length and breadth of this country, and our reporters standing by for those crossings. But first, I want to get back to Sakina now, who's standing by with our live studio audience in the M1 studios here in Johannesburg. Sakina, lovely to have you on the program as we preview the launch show of Elections 360. Lots of issues. Talk to us about the temperature of views on the ground.
Well, good evening, Blaine, and good evening, everybody. And as you rightly say, democracy can sometimes be messy. But of course, it's election time, general elections 2024 South Africa, and it's going to be the most hotly contested one yet. 52 days counting to election day, the 29th of May 2024. And of course, the IEC, they've received the candidates list from all the parties, all the independents who wish to contest this election. The objections have been lodged, and of course the IEC has upheld or actually dismissed some of those, and of course then the parties had the opportunity to actually go and appeal to the IEC in that regard, and they have a few more days to conclude that particular process. But of course we have a live audience here, and this is where it gets really exciting, I tell you, because we want to know exactly what the people think. So Blaine, when you talk about taking the temperature, it's not from us, it's from the viewers and of course South Africa at large. So let me start here. Someone has been giggling the whole evening here. Let me start to find out from him exactly what it is that these elections mean to you.
Good day, everybody. I hope you're well. My name is Uluvo Litalabatembu Baliso. I'm originally from the Eastern Cape, but I've been someone who's been living in Johannesburg now for the past 5 years or so. And I think my most poignant take on the election right now is a conversation specifically around voter fatigue. I think that for quite some time we've been having conversations around voter apathy, specifically within the youth, and how the youth are more engaged with this election comparatively to ones we've had before. But I think it's important to consider, especially being someone who comes from what is rated as one of the worst municipalities in South Africa, namely being the Enoch Mgijima municipality in Komani, that voter fatigue there is exceptional in the sense that hope for a brighter future, a different future, or hope that any kind of legitimacy may come from the structures that the government's put in place we all feel that they are unlikely to make any kind of tangible change for our realities. And because of that, I think it speaks to an unwillingness to vote from people from that side. But even from the people who do, they do it as a civil duty, but not because they have high morale or they have any kind of idea of what it's going to lead to. Where I come from, we have very, very small hope in democracy.
Well, and I think that is quite an indictment, but an indictment on whom? An indictment on what? And Luvo giving us his view. You'll remember the Enoch Ngijima municipality for that notorious story around the stadium that was not quite a stadium, a field or something. But of course, all of those issues will come to the fore because these are provincial elections as well. Let me take a walk and just get a few more views because when you spoke about voter fatigue, Luvo, many people actually were nodding. But let's see. Ma'am?
Thank you. Good evening to everyone, to the viewers at home. My name is Nzalama. And one thing I can just point out with the voting in South Africa, seeing that we are in 30 years of democracy, you get to understand that many of the youth doesn't actually understand or even have the exceptional idea of what a democracy means in actual fact. But at the same time, at the backdrop, we have a democracy deficiency where our government is actually experiencing a loss of legitimacy and people feel that they can never trust it again with its institutions collectively. But at the same time, they see no hope in the opposition and they are willing to actually go back to the same ruling party because none of the oppositions are actually doing better than the ruling party. So therefore, it becomes a very catastrophic and a wearing down of a democracy throughout the 30 years of the democracy that we've had.
Well, another damning assessment of our democracy and its institutions. Let me go up here for a minute and find out what some of the other views are.
Good evening. My name is Mangoba Mtaung. So I just want to keep it simple. I think with seeing these small parties coming to play now, namely you have Rise Mzansi, and the Jacob Zuma one with MK, I think those parties will play a significant role in these elections as they're bringing something new into the fore, especially when you look at Rise Mzansi and they are very like new things that they want to the new things that they want to put into our country at large. And I think they will play a key role in these elections actually, and I'm looking forward to see like how it's going to look for the country when the elections finish. Thank you.
Worried about the education around the elections because my chat is we need economic emancipation as a country. There is no point in fighting domestic issues, but as a country we can't really compete. We have one of the best GDPs in the country, statistically speaking, but we are not really reaping the fruits of that. So I think coming into these elections, let's have more individuals, organization, educating people actually on the possibilities of what could happen when they vote. Because as you said, voter fatigue, as he said, new parties, there's a lot of factors at play, and 30 years of democracy too doesn't make it easy. There's a lot at stake, and I feel like people should have knowledge, so everybody can make informed decisions and actually know what they're doing, because there's no use voting based on merit or because of somebody said this or these parties seem to be throwing a lot of budgets. Let's actually vote because we know what extent and what we actually want out of the elections.
Well, thank you very much. And of course, the parties have delivered their election manifestos. And have you been listening to those? Have any of those swayed your initial inclination as to who to vote for? Have you taken a look at the party lists and who the parties are actually putting forward to be the next leadership in this country? Because that democracy is a two-way street in the end, where we also need to play our part and make sure that we hold our elected representatives accountable. We can't do that if we don't know what's going on. So let me just get a few more views. The gentleman here sitting with the newspaper looks very serious.
Elections
All right, we do apologize with the break-in transmission there. We'll try to redial Sakina, get them back as well. But important issues nonetheless that the voters are talking about. Look, packed stadiums for election manifestos is one thing. Great for optics. The real test becomes what happens at the polls. May 29th, it's the build-up. We're talking about issues that affect you, your family, your community. But more importantly, what are the plausible solutions? What is the level of urgency, right, that the people who have the power can affect change? Do you believe what they say? If you don't, why? Where's your head, where's your heart with regards to this elections? We'd love to hear you on It's Topical, as well as from next week when we come to your area, Elections 360. Let's take a walk. I'm going to crisscross the country, right? Get you a sense of what we're talking about over the past couple of weeks. It's real issues. That's what it boils down to. It's the issues that affect, you and your family. And firstly, I want to take you to the Northwest Province. I understand my colleague Thabiso Moss is live for us there. But just to give you a sense of what we're talking about and some of the issues in the Northwest Province. And I would say it mirrors that of national issues as well, right? Sanitation, water, roads, housing. It's not enough just to have roads, right? It's to have roads without potholes, effective. It affects everything in terms of commerce. It affects your livelihood as well, in terms of how you live, access. So it seems like a larger issue, or in terms of the larger scale of things, seems like an issue that we can maybe do without. But real life problems, real life issues that happen, and this is what we're talking about: the issues of roads. You deal with potholes every day. What is the plausible solutions? That's the aim of tonight's show, as well as Elections 360, to get a better understanding of how to get to that better place. Now, the residents of Khanisa in the Northwest, they're complaining about the poor state of service delivery in the area. And they complain about water shortages, as I mentioned, poor state of roads, among others. And these residents say poor political and administrative leadership has paralyzed their municipality. Now, we will obviously, during this period, talk to many role players, but let's hear from Thabiso Moss. He joins us now live from the Northwest, Khanisa. Thabiso, talk to us about the real issues. What are people talking to you about? What's affecting their daily lives?
Good evening, Blaine, and our viewers at home. Yes, we are here at Khanisa in Kagisano, Molopo local municipality. As you have alluded in your introduction, people are talking about basic services, struggling to access basic services like water and proper sanitation. If you come to this area of Khanisa in Kagisano, Molopo local municipality, you'll find that many people are still using or accessing water from communal taps. People don't have taps in their yards, and even though those communal taps are there, but they wouldn't find water persistently from those taps because the municipality is struggling to provide them with sufficient water. And another issue is proper sanitation, because if you come to this area, even though the municipality consists of several villages like Yotla, Khameng, as well as Morokweng, Khanisa alone, you can just see that people are still using pit toilets in this area. Talking to the issue of proper sanitation around Kagisano Molopo local municipality, as I said, that the municipality consists of several villages like Khanisa, Morokweng, Tlakhameng, and these other villages like Lona and Ostri. But if you speak to people in this municipality, they talk about basic services. As we understand the situation at the municipality, there seems to be political and administrative challenges which also affect service delivery around this area.
Any response from the affected municipalities as yet in terms of how they, plan to better improve the lives of the people that live there?
Yeah, you remember, Blaine, that 2 years ago, the community in this area were protesting, demanding services. They even delivered the memorandum to the municipality talking about their daily struggles, like accessing basic services like water and proper sanitation. But even since then, the municipality has been plagued by political instability as well as administrative challenges. If you talk about the position of the municipal manager, that for an example, the newly appointed municipal manager, Eric Gaborone, as we speak, is on suspension because the other candidate who was vying for the same position of the municipal manager, Mr. Bloom, is also challenging the appointment of Eric Gaborone. So there is back and forth in the municipality as far as the position of the municipal manager is concerned. So it shows that there is no proper administrative leadership in that regard, because now you have a letter from the MEC of local government who's saying requesting the municipal council to reverse or revoke the appointment of Eric Gaborone. Now those matters are in court. Eric Gaborone is challenging his suspension in High Court in Mahikeng. So the matter will be heard later this week. And at the same time, like I said, Mr. Tsepo Bloom, who was the candidate for the same position of the municipal manager, is also challenging the appointment of Eric Gaborone, saying he was irregularly appointed. Apparently, there is another competency assessment that was compiled. We don't know by whom, but according to the letter from the MEC, there are two competency assessments. The other one was compiled by the Gijima, and the other one, they don't know who is the author of that competency assessment. That led to the appointment of Eric Gaborone as the municipal manager in this area.
Right. Look, Thabiso, before I let you go, often, and we will be speaking to the various role players, as I said, over the next couple of weeks, to get their response and a plausible, palpable situation that could ignite into a bigger issue. What are their solutions, right? But often you find solutions within communities. When you speak to ordinary citizens, what are they saying with regards to where we can meet halfway here?
Yeah, and if you look at the situation around many municipalities in the province, because we've covered several stories, not only concerning the Kagiso Nomolopo local municipality, but there are several municipalities like Otswaing, where there is also a challenge of proper sanitation and water. And there is a Human Rights Commission report in that regard. They investigated the issue of water and sanitation challenges in that area. But if you speak to the authorities, whether at local level or at district level or at provincial level, they will tell you that we are addressing the very same issues that people are complaining about, like water. We are doing 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go to the State of the Province address that was delivered by the acting Premier Nono Maloi 2 months ago, he spoke to the issues of completion of projects, especially water projects, that they have to, or some of those projects started long time ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. But like I said, if you speak to the authorities, they will tell you that we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 to address the very same challenges of the community. When you talk about basic services, they wouldn't even want to acknowledge that there is a regression as far as provision of basic services is concerned in many areas across the province, not only here in Kagiso Nomolopo local municipality.
Thabiso, keep your ears to the ground. No doubt if there's any developments, come back to us. We'll get you on air. We'll get the viewers the very latest in your area. It's important. It helps them make decisions when they're going to vote on May 29th. Thabiso Moste, thank you very much indeed in the Northwest. All right, from the Northwest province, I want to go to the Free State. It's where we find my colleague Ishmael Mudiba. He's live for us there. I understand it's coming down in torrents there, Ishmael. Thank you very much indeed for standing by in the rain. It's important. Talk to us about the issues, some of the issues we put up in terms of what communities are going through, gangsterism, GBV, land, jobs. Tell us more. Ishmael? You with us? All right, it seems that we having a bit of a issue with Ismail's line. It is raining there, could be affecting the transmission, but we will endeavor to try. But we'll pause it on Ismail. Why don't we go to Mpumalanga, right? It's where we find my colleague Tumelo Mochoho. He's live for us there. Again, issues such as electricity, roads, housing, crime, water. These are national issues, right? Plays out in provincial level as well. Electricity, load shedding. We haven't had load shedding for 11 consecutive days. Seemingly, there's some sort of progress being made in that regard. How long will it last? We shall see. Yeah, 3 most loaded words when it comes to these kind of issues. But let's hear from Tumelo Mochoho, who is live for us there. Tumelo, what's the headline for you when you speak to people? What are their concerns?
Thank you. Well, indeed, Blaine, also here it's pouring down here in Matafeni, but the community here, they are actually raising issues of electricity. You did say just that now that, we have not had load shedding in a very long time, but the community here, they are struggling with load shedding, but they are also struggling with electricity cuts in the area. Just this afternoon, they did not have electricity throughout the day. They only got electricity just about 2 hours ago. So this community is struggling with that, but also talking about issues of service delivery, issues of roads. Just driving into this township, it was established more than 2 decades ago, but still there are not enough roads. Infrastructure challenges is still an issue here because most of these people, they're not connected to the municipality in terms of sewage and all those things. And the community here have been raising these issues. This community is one of those communities that, goes on protest almost every single week because they are raising issues of electricity. Electricity because this township has mushroomed so much that it can't keep up. The substations can't keep up with the load of people that actually has to take care of. But let's speak to some of the community members that have actually joined us this evening. Blaine, just speak to us about the challenges that you guys face here in the community as the community of Matafeni. Just the issues that you guys face, and also do you guys think by voting this year, some of these issues will be addressed, and also thinking like those issues will be addressed by voting come the 29th of May?
Ngivusela Tumelo phindze ngivukisele nebabukeli emakhaya. Tumelo indzaba loyitekako indzaba sibili. Singumphakathi waseMathafeni wake bahlali baseMathafeni. Sidibane ingcinamba letinyenti kakhulu tifaka ikhatsi ke yona ke igezi. Igezi yethu laMathafeni nayibuya iload shedding. Siqala kupheka ivele ihambe ko 2 days ko 3 days. Ubole kudla. Kanjalo ke futhi nemanti ngoba Mathafeni mkhulu wathi 14 uqala letulu le wophakuti ehle ke abuye ngendazi lena itulu kude mandi kude emaVaterkani iVaterkani nayo ibuye ephethela amanti ingcolele kwayona into enyuka yalomgwaqo bese uyacabanga ukuthi lokulakhathi ke kule Vaterkani kunjani nawubuka le Vaterkani ingcolile lokunye ke losikhala ngabo futhi neambulance labantu abadzala bayagula ukugibela ke itekisi usukele yona le tekisi ayisakhoni futhi ukuthi ifike khona itolo thatha abahlali balamathafeni bagibele bofika edrobheni sejika le ndazi ngoba imigwaqo ifile imigwaqo ingathemba if ukukhumbula sike sahlaselwa imvula. I think it was 2 years back kude lokwentiwe labantu balahle tibi la emgwaqweni sesihambe kwetimi ngetimoto so lana amatekisi kajika le ndazi abantu abadzala basakhona uswala la labakhona khona bogibela amatekisi. Ambulance ke ngicabanga ukuthi sikhalo selive lonke lokuthi nawe ifonela ambulance la eSouth Africa kuba liqi kusifike.
All right, just to explain there, Blaine, this gentleman is actually raising issues of roads, saying that, ambulances cannot come into the community and also come to people that are sick, and actually should come to the community to get people that are sick to take them to hospitals because of the roads, because the roads are terrible, saying that the electricity, sometimes they don't have electricity for 2 to 3 days, and some of these issues also affect them because now the food that they have in the fridges, now they go spoiled. Also, just talk to us about the issues that you guys have, but also do you think by voting this year, some of these issues have you raised with these political parties that have been campaigning and coming to your community, do you think these issues will be addressed and you guys will have a community that is have like a service delivery, and service delivery will arrive in your community?
Greetings to Mr. Dumelo. I don't think the coming elections will help us confidentially because we've been voting along since from 1994. We've voted for ANC, our elders and grandmothers, fathers, they were still voting for ANC. But now the problem is the issue of electricity, the issue of water, the issue of road and whatever services we're looking for under the municipality. It's a very big crisis, because when we can check the issue of electricity, the Matafeni community didn't have electricity for almost 3 weeks now. It's not because of the ward councillor doesn't deliver the services, but we have approached the ESCOM company to come and assist us with the issue of transformers, because the transformers now, they have loaded more houses, more connections over their voltages and whatever. So what I should say about the voting coming elections is that they must have a proper campaign. They must tell us what are we gonna get after the elections, because now we don't think like voting anymore.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us. That's just some of the sentiments that the communities have raised here, issues of water, electricity, and also roads in this community. These are some of the issues that they just raised, but this community is facing with so many social ills also in terms of crime. Crime here is quite terrible in this community, but also they're facing a lot of issues. They don't have a high school themselves here, so they need all those things so that the house school also can be built in this community. It's back to you, Blaine.
Yeah, it's an important point where people are, for lack of a better word, fed up, right? When they say they've been voting since 1994, not much change. But there are those who say that their vote matters, their vote counts, and the vote will affect change. I wonder, and we have a plethora of political parties, right? But if an electorate is disillusioned, does that mean more choice, right? But we will put that to our analysts as well, Topical Mosoko. Thank you so much for braving the inclement weather there in Mpumalanga. Also, another province battling with the elements, so to speak, is Ishmael Modiba, who is live for us in Bloemfontein, I understand, in the Free State. Ishmael, I hope you can hear us now. We were talking to Tumelo with regards to certain people, the apathy, sets in. Why should I vote? Issues are there. We know the issues: electricity, water, sanitation, housing, etc. The list goes on. What's the sentiment on the ground for you in terms of the people you speak to? Are they eager to get out there and vote?
Well, Blaine, the situation here in the Free State and in Bloemfontein in particular, yes, people are one would say people are eager to go to the ballot box and make their tick and make choices that would lead them into a better future. And we have seen in the past that the issues have been there. Issues are always there every day. I can just take you on this particular road we are is Dr. Belcher Road, where nearly 3 years ago, next month it will be exactly 3 years ago, since in May 2021, the community members under the banner of Mangaung Concerned Community held a shutdown that nearly took a week, where people were complaining about the issues of service delivery, lack of job opportunities in Mangaung, and the violence that they're experiencing in the community, to say things need to improve. So in that particular march that disrupted services, where people could not go to work on that particular month in May 2021, it resulted in the death of a 13-year-old boy, Givano Seagal, who stays not far away from this area. But to tell us with regard to that action that was taken in 2021, initiated by the members of the Mangaung Concerned Community, to say you made a shutdown in 2021, you raised issues with the municipality, you engaged with the provincial leadership under the then leadership of former Premier Sisi Ntombela and the current incumbent Premier Mxolisi Dukwana. Are those issues that you have raised have been taken forward? Have you seen progress? But to tell us if there is progress or not is the spokesperson of Mangaung Concerned Community, that is Donald Constable. Donald, we have engaged with you in the past. You have explained your challenges with regard to issues in the community. You have, like I've mentioned, with the march that you had in 2021, can you say there is a road, there is a light at the end of the tunnel?
Ishmael, thank you for this year. Ishmael, MCC is on record in saying the current situation in Mangaung since our shutdown, as you mentioned in 2021 May, when we lost this young, vibrant boy who was then 13 years old, and the next one will be 14, Giovanni Sichels. And right now, to be honest with you, we are hopeful that we receive what the 4 pillars of MCC is, and that is service delivery, that is unemployment, that is land, and that is job opportunities. Currently, I'll be honest with you, our engagement with the then Premier, Mentombela, and the MOU we signed with the municipality at that time, have come no results. We have, then after that, shortly after that, our cry out was that we wanted new leadership in Mangaung. And then the new leadership came on, what we have now. And I want to be honest with you, with the current leadership, under the leadership of Gregory Ntatiso, the mayor, we call him Majoro, they're a very wise politician. There is hope. What this man has done, just before he took on his campaign on service delivery in Mangaung, MCC had 1,000 volunteers cleaning clinics and schools and hospitals. Then he came on board and he took on that task. And we saw him cleaning the CBD of Mangaung with his committee under the leadership of his deputy Lulama. So currently, I can say that there's big hope. Mangaung is in good hands now. They've only been 9 months in position now since the issue. What I'm saying is in good hands, Ishmael, is that since Mangaung engagement with the new leadership on different departments, specifically, I want to go on the one of finance, MMC of finance, Councillor Logan, the one of MEC of road infrastructure, McQueen, and law enforcement, Commissar Saris. There's been great response. A bold woman, politically matured, all of them, and this gentleman come there well positioned. There is hope for service delivery. There is hope for job opportunities. Mangaung has employed people on board a month ago, but we say, okay, thank you.
Well, that's Donald Constable from the Mangaung, spokesperson of the Mangaung Concerned Community, speaking about their activities or the action that they took in 2021. He says what they initiated, it bore fruits for them, and they are happy with the progress that has been made so far. I guess we'll have to wait for the masses to stand up and show that they are eager to take part in the upcoming election that will be happening on the 29th of May. And that's what we had for you, Blaine.
Ishmael, thank you very much indeed. Ishmael Modiba, live for us in Bloemfontein in the Free State. Appreciate your reporting. So, Bloemfontein to now the Eastern Cape we go. I understand it's to East London, and it's where we find my colleague Sidima Mfeku. She's live for us there. Sidima, talk to us about some of the issues. So we've got up some of the issues that you have been raising, such as school infrastructure, sanitation, jobs, but something that piques my interest, entrepreneurial opportunities, talks to the issues of economy, talks to the issues of upliftment of communities. What are people saying with regards to this?
Well, Blaine, East London has got quite a number of young people that are doing various things, especially entrepreneurial things in this particular area. And this is because of the high the high rate of unemployment, particularly in the Eastern Cape, and not necessarily just here in East London. People are doing various things in this particular city to counter the high level of unemployment. To understand that young people have to, be entrepreneurial, think outside the box, do something that's going to really give them the gains that they hope to get even outside of being employed by someone else, and that is entrepreneurship. I have here one of the young people in this particular area who has been working around getting his business out there, and we want to just to hear from him what has brought you to, where you are now? What has forced you to take upon entrepreneurship for yourself?
Thank you for the opportunity. It's the difficulties that we face in our communities, the high unemployment rate, having to struggle even with school, going to school and having your qualification, and you can't do anything about it because there are no employments around the areas. So we tend to take it upon ourselves to ensure that we do something for our communities, and also having the heart to see the people around you that they are also facing the same problems that we are facing. So when you have something and we have a particular skill, you tend to share with the people around you, and we then do something and we start businesses.
And how is it? How is being a young business person in East London?
Honestly, it's very difficult because there's very little support that we get from the authorities. The only support we get is from our communities, and the unfortunate part is that we can't get enough support because most of our people are unemployed and they do not have the means to support the business.
All right, thank you very much. One other community member here, just to find out about how things are here in Purperville. We are in Purperville, East London, one of the areas that are most disadvantaged with the highest level of crime, and also issues like load shedding, electricity, water are very pressing in this area. Just let us in on those.
Good evening, Molweni, Nant, Outwolf. Guys, it's been years. Ward 1. Road. It's been 6 years or 3 years. There is no electricity, there's no lights. Kudala kukhalazwa. No councillor kudala ehamba kwamasipala reporter, but there is no report back. Ababantu abanambane abana nix bayasokola. So siyacela please bantu bakamasipala sicela uncedo elisinoko siyekuvoteni ngoku. Elithi guys sicela please silayitelwe ePhefi eGrassmere Road.
Thank you very much. She's saying there that they've got an electricity crisis here that has been going on for between 3 to 6 years now, and they are asking that authorities give them the electricity that they need. We do understand that there's also another issue here of drainage system, which is said to be due to infrastructural issues, and Umama is one of the people who live in a house that has sewer at the back of a yard. Mama, thank you very much for your time. Just let us in on the problem. How has it been going for you? How are you guys living?
It's bad. We're living bad because I got grandchildren. One of them got pimples at the back, and was long time. It was 8 months. After 8 months, after 8 months, when we sit in that problem, I've gone all over, but I haven't got no access. No one come to access me, and it's very bad. It's very bad. I want to ask help. But one day they bring the SC people to my house. I put a complaint, but I go to my Spala officer. No one come. They come and look, and they go back, and they said they're gonna access me, but it's still the same. Sitting the same problem.
Yeah, quite a very common problem in this area where the road is flooded with sewer that's flowing the street, unbearable stench that we had to endure here as we came here to do this coverage in this area. Tata ndicela nje usondele kancinci khawusiqalele wena indlela ekuchaphazela ngayo indaba yesuwa kwakho.
I've been to the housing many times. It is now up to 9 months. The water is running there in my yard. We got small children there, full of pimples, and it's very, 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 very difficult for us.
Yeah.
Because we can't even sleep at night. The way the water is running there.
All right.
There was a guy there who said he's a lawyer. He will take the council to court for that water. But nothing happened.
All right. Thank you very much, Tata. That is one of the residents here saying that he's also been suffering the issue of sewer in the area. And also we do understand that residents here have got a problem of housing that is not being, renovated. They're saying their houses are raining. They're dripping water every time when it's raining. They are not in a good standard at all, Blaine.
Stima, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Important reporting because it helps us understand, pulls back the curtain a bit and gives us a window into what people are going through. Apart from the issues of water and sanitation, it crosses over then to health issues. You heard some of the complaints, but we're not only going to hear complaints, right? We're going to try to get you solutions as well. That's the aim of Elections 360. That's been the aim of its Topical all this time. Apart from the provinces that you see being featured here tonight, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be going to your province as well, various other provinces, to get the real story from the ground, to hear it from the people themselves. It is important to hear Mr. Mfeko's reporting there as well, because as I said, it helps us build this case or strategy to get to better. And that's what we've always been talking about. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will hear also from those who have gathered at our M1 studios in Johannesburg, live with Sakina as well. We're going to take it over to her and get you their views, their concerns, also their solutions. More next. Welcome back. You're watching It's Topical, crossing over to Elections 360. Look, we have a sense of your concerns, right? What are they? Access to water, electricity, not having enough money to pay your children's school fees, your bond, your car payments. Others have it worse. Where am I going to get money to feed my child? Where am I going to get money to feed myself? Serious issues, dire issues. I'm not alone as well. Sakina is here. She's got a live studio audience at the M1 studios in Johannesburg, and pretty much issues as well that we've been talking about across the other provinces that we've been through. She's hearing the same as well. But let's hear it from those who have gathered there. Sakina?
Thanks, Blaine, indeed. And, some of the issues raised, of course, echoing the sentiments that have been expressed here. But as you say, we're going to need those solutions to come through, because speaking of water, and Rand Water a few weeks ago were talking about 40% of water that they actually send through to the municipalities going to waste in a water-scarce country. That is totally unacceptable. You look at the electricity issues, the amount of money that we spend and keep spending, and yet the problems continue. So we need those solutions to come through at some point. But of course, this is about the voice of the people. And as you said, we're going to hear from them what the issues are, and of course, what it is that they are looking forward to hearing from their hopeful elected representatives in this year's election. So let me start at the top this time, just to hear from our gathered, our friends here from around the area here in Auckland Park, what it is that they would like to foreground for the election, sir.
Dumelang le kae. Na lebitso la ka ke Tahir ne. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
One of the issues that I want to raise, it is that it seems like these manifestos, they are not talking to us directly. They are more focused on the national issues than on the ground issues. Let me make a practical example. We just spoke about the issue of water. You see, it was very easy for local councillors to come to our household telling us about the new project that is going to save water and stuff like that, which is led by Johannesburg Water. And poor communication was the key. They never consulted us. They never engaged us in terms of sitting down with the same community that they claim to be representing. Right now, we've got water shading. As we speak in Deep Kloof, we have been introduced the prepaid water meters. They have activated these meters without our consent. Now we're supposed to go and buy water. How do you buy water while you still have a leakage? You get that 30,000 free waters that they claim to be giving us. 2 days later, that water is finished. Tomorrow, they tell you about when you buy water, you get 6,000 liters for free. 2 days later, that water is not there. We are looking at Deep Kloof is surrounded by pensioners. The high rate of the youth unemployment is very high. Now, you introduce something that we cannot maintain. We want to pay services. But we want to pay services and Johannesburg Water and councillors They must be honest to us. It was very easy for them to introduce the project of Johannesburg Water, but it's very difficult for them to bring the Johannesburg Water to the very same community to say, here are the challenges of the leakages. These are the challenges, but they cannot afford to buy water. So now I have a challenge on that particular issue.
So, sir, I want to ask you, you say you do want to pay for the services. How much do you want to pay?
Well, to be quite frank, I think we need to have a flat rate. Looking at the scale of the high unemployment that we have, I think if we can go to 350 per household, just for water, 300 or something for electricity, that can work for us because of at least you'll be having a budget to say this is what is expected from me to pay for these services.
And I'd love to hear everybody else on that as well. Is that a 350 Rand flat rate for Soweto only, or is it going to be for everybody in South Africa? So I'd love to hear your views there.
Hello everyone, my name is Junior Masemeni. I stay in Deep Blue Zone 3. I, for one, I can't buy water. It is very, very difficult to buy water because I don't know how many liters I used if I do my laundry or I clean the house. That is very difficult. According to me, it's a wrong decision for them. They must come and be accountability for this and that. So I can't buy water. Electricity is bad. How will you know that Tabiso he used 30 liters or I used 20 liters? That one is very, very difficult for me. I, for one, I think they must just tell us the truth, and at least flat rate is better, but in electricity, not what I refuse. Thank you.
So there you have it. People refusing to pay for certain things. Others say flat rate. Ma'am, what's your view?
Thank you very much. My name is Busisiwe Siabe. I think these elections give us an opportunity to have a post-mortem of what is happening in the country, and for leadership to be accountable for a lot of the programs that they have implemented that are not working. One of those is a very critical program around the NSP, which is the National Strategic Plan against gender-based violence and femicide. With gender-based violence continuing to increase in the country, crime and hijacking also continue to increase in the country, we need accountability, and we need to be able to have a government that is able to respond to a lot of these campaigns and a lot of these programs that they've opened up that are essentially not reaching the man on the ground, that are not tangible to the everyday citizen in our communities. We need to also be able to speak to the manifestos that they've written, because most of these political parties, like the EFF for an example, have recycled their manifestos from previous years into this year, which makes us question, are they able to implement a lot of the things that they've promised us, or are these wish lists more than anything else? So there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen, and we need to be able to have a conversation amongst the youth and the older generation so we can bridge the gap, because there is a disjuncture, and that disjuncture is causing to a large degree a lot of division within the country, not only on a class basis but also on a racial and ethnicity kind of basis. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the 59 days, if I'm not mistaken. 52 days are heading to elections. So I'm hoping that this debate will bring forth a lot of conversation, but will also inspire the youth to take up their place in society and in the country, because the youth is the largest voting demographic within this country, and without them coming into the forefront, we're going to have our old grandmothers, with all due respect, who are 86, wanting to re-elect a government that is not serving young people at the moment, and that will not serve us going forward.
Are you saying the grandmothers and the grandfathers don't have agency? They don't have a choice in terms of who they would like to see? I mean, it's not their fault that the youth disengages from the process. So can we really blame them? They are voting for who they think is good for them, is going to pave the way for them. But of course, this is about you.
I actually disagree with the fact that the youth are not involved in the process. I mean, during the ad break, we were discussing amongst the youth, talking about the various manifestos and certain things that are popping up, or certain things that are like top on our lists. And for me, it's the issue of sustainable, uninterrupted electricity supply. We spoke about issues that the youth is facing: unemployment. There's an issue of GBV. We are the most unequal country in the world, and in order for us an uninterrupted electricity supply is the backdrop of any economy's growth. So we're speaking about it and asking ourselves, is privatization the way to go or anything? So actually the youth is very much involved. And what my view is that actually I'm against privatization of Eskom. And that is because South Africa is a developmental state. So now if we privatize Eskom, then its goal is not about development, but about gaining profit, which means that even if the private sector does manage to eradicate load shedding, then even more people will not have access to electricity.
Let me just problematize that by saying that people don't have electricity anyway. So which more electricity are we talking about?
Good evening. My name is Eliasi, and I would love to be like different from everyone. The logic of election as a whole has changed. We used to know that back in the days we were hoping election will provide service delivery, but that is no longer the case. While we are focusing on the surface level of unemployment, all those things, it's a reality that they are happening. But we need to look beyond that, in the sense that although the logic of elections has happened, new trends are in place: climate change, terrorism, all those things, like they play like a key role, and there is so much a state can do to ensure that like the security of the country is secured by focusing on that. And that will also like relate to election, where like they use our agency in Africa to mediate in certain things in which they neglect whatever we are so fixated on. Hence, like when you talk like about elections, that's the thing. When we talk about unemployment, that's the thing that we'll see like the politicians, these parties coming to us, because like their manifestos may look good on the paper, of which like it's very like glamorous, but we know like South Africa has a disease of implementation. So they may look good on the paper, but like we also need to also like expecting so much from the government that they should like give us employment. Like we also need to be like radical to fight for our rights. That's what I can say.
And I hear people always saying our policies are good on paper, but we fall short of implementation. So, and I always ask, so how do you know that that's a good policy if it hasn't been implemented? It hasn't been tested. So what makes you so sure that it's a good policy?
I'm not sure if I'll be answering your question, but hi, my name is Sinetemba Zulu. I'm from Pietermaritzburg, KZN. And I think one of the things that will always take us back as a country is failure to maintain and do maintenance and repair to the infrastructure that we already have. We can't deny that we've come a long way in terms of infrastructure as a country, but what happens then when years pass and we neglect our infrastructure? Now we get to a point where millions of cash injections have to be made to an infrastructure, cash injections that could be invested in other avenues. I'll take, for example, there was a road leading to there was a road destroyed by floods in KZN. The road had been left for 2 years without repairs. Now, it's a road that leads to one of the most beautiful tourist attractions in KZN. Now, we need to understand that failure to repair that road is not only blocking economic development in that municipality, but it's blocking job opportunities, it's blocking tourists, the tourist sector growing as a whole. So we do need to focus on repairing and maintaining our structures that we already have.
You see, I'm always loath to give us as the public a free pass on things, because you speak about the infrastructure, you spoke about the budgets and the programs that were put in place with regard to gender-based violence, the water and sanitation issues. And yet, what do we do as the electorate to make sure that we follow up on what is happening and actually hold people accountable? Well, I'm being told to wrap. What's the time? I can't believe we're out of time already. But, next week we are going, of course, Blaine, hoping to have this arena full of people, and hopefully many of you will be able to join us again next week, because the political parties will be here, and that will be the road to the 29th of May, and we'll be hearing your views, and you'll be able to put those questions directly to our elected representatives or those whom you hope to install into positions of power. Blaine?
Oh, yes, indeed. Sakina, excited, no doubt. It bodes well, right? Active citizenry. That's what we're talking about. That's what it's all about. Engaging authorities. We're going to bring in the people with the answers to the people who need the answers. So join us then. Sakina and I will also be on the road as well, hearing your views straight from you. It's going to be important. All right, let's get some context for you. As always, give you a sense of why this matters, why this is important. We're joined by Dr. Levindo, is a political analyst. Doc, good to have you on the program. You no doubt have been listening to not only concerns from today, but for the past couple of weeks. People listening to the politicians, but also voicing their concerns. What does that portend for the upcoming elections?
Good evening, Blaine. Good evening to the viewers at home and the people on the studio there. The reality is that ordinary citizens would love to see a change coming towards their direction. They want to see the elections giving them hope and something tangible that can come towards their direction. I'm very much interested on the issue that relates to voter fatigue, in the sense that every 2.5 years in South Africa, we go for elections, national and local government elections, and what the citizens are getting on a regular basis are promises, yeah. And what they need to see is change coming towards their direction.
We're running fast out of time, Doc, but look, the standard repertoire on the political campaign will be about service delivery issues, etc., etc. But what do you think is missing from the political messaging?
Well, I think a lot has been said from the political messaging, because all the political parties have been able to identify issues that are at the heart of ordinary citizens. But what, in my view, has to happen, which is quite missing, is the encouragement of ordinary citizens having active citizens in ensuring that politicians are accountable to their actions.
Dr. Levindo, we will no doubt get your take more in detail as the weeks and months go on. No doubt we need your better mind and context, but appreciate you coming in tonight and giving your take on matters. Dr. Levindo is a political analyst. All right, before we go, here's my take. Elections 360, excited, right? What's the objective? I would say to get people to start talking to each other instead of about each other, right? To accommodate opposing ideas. Our goal is, and has always been, to give you a wide range of perspectives to help you make decisions that will benefit you, your family, and your community. Things will no doubt get heated, right, during the next couple of weeks, but we have to disagree with decency. Feeding animus means that we're running very fast on the same spot. Having said that, though, we will no doubt test views. Look, nobody's going to come to you and say, vote for me, and I promise to swindle you out of everything that you have. It's not going to be that obvious, right? We have to dig. We have to dig a little deeper. But as we've come to learn, there will be signs, as they say. And it's part of our job to expose the ill intent, the incompetence. Why? Because we need smart people. We need smart people to get us to a better place. Once again, I say, there might be a deep division and disagreement between us, right? But there's also a degree of commonality regarding the challenges we face. And where there's common concern, we need to find ways to come together for the common good. Looking forward to those conversations, Sakina and I, over the next couple of weeks. And that's my take. All right, we'll see you next week, same time, different place. See you then.